But one of the most important things that occurred in this case that actually got the case going was when the detectives brought Stefan Stearns in. And when they brought him in, he's free to go. He's not under arrest. But detectives know, and I'll use a Yiddish word they use in New York City, how to schmooze a potential defendant. Schmooze him, be nice to him, get him talking to you. And use your best acting to show that, no, you're not a suspect. And this was so important because guess what they got him to do? Guess what they got him to voluntarily allow them to do? Right. And there's a consent form, and we'll see this. Yeah. Consent to search. They allowed, Stefan Stearns allowed the police, without a search warrant, to search his phone. They made sure, and this shows they know what they're doing, they made sure that he signed a consent to search of his phone so that later on he could say, I never gave them permission. And surely after they found the bad stuff, guess what? That at that point, probable cause is established. And Mike, you're the attorney. Once probable cause you describe it.
Probable cause is a certain level of proof that would induce a normal, prudent, reasonable police officer to believe that a crime has been, is being, or is about to be committed, and the person that they have seized, the person they have in front of them, is the person who did it. It's not proof beyond a reasonable doubt, like, say, for instance, at a trial, but you have to have some objective proof that would induce a reasonable person to believe that a crime was committed and that person did it.
You know, Mike, what I actually also was looking for was at this point, if the detectives were going to proceed with questioning, they now have, he's under arrest.
Oh, yeah, that changes everything.
Read him Miranda, right?
You got to, yeah.
After they read him Miranda, he didn't want to talk.
Right.
He knew the gig was up. He thought that he had erased the contents of his phone. And he made that big mistake. But for the law enforcement, that was a jackpot because now they could put this savage in jail while they continue to investigate it. And they know at this point he's their guy. And that was a crucial part of this case, and it happened very, very early on in this case. Let's just remind you of some of the things that occurred in this case.
Breaking news. There's a presser going on in the state of Florida by the state attorney there. And this is regarding Madeline Soto, who you have heard about, and the child. And Stearns is the one who had been charged with pornography. Let's get you live into the presser.
7.5 weeks, actually. The Kissimmee Police Department and my office have been working closely to go over every piece of evidence that we could gather in this case. It was a voluminous and a lot of evidence to get through during that time, but we were successful in getting through it and making sure that we were able to provide the best case we could. Today, we're announcing that Stefan Stearns has been indicted by the grand jury on first-degree murder for the killing of Madeline Soto. We presented the case to the grand jury. They returned an indictment earlier today. There has been some questions as related to the length of investigation. I just want to let you know again that my office and the Kissimmee Police Department have been working vigilantly in making sure that we had every opportunity to get every piece of evidence that we could. I want to thank the Kissimmee Police Department and their tireless efforts. They've done an amazing job in the heavy lift that we've asked them to do, as well as the prosecutors that have been assigned to this case and making sure that we got every piece of evidence reviewed and gathered in this case. While death investigations usually take around 5 to 6 weeks or longer, we were able to get this one done relatively quickly and get the case to the front of the grand jury, like I said earlier today, to return the indictment against Mr. Stefan Stearns. The death penalty in this case, we have not decided to what decision we're going to make in that case. We're going to continue those discussions going forward, and we'll let you know again when we make that decision as to whether we're going to seek the death penalty in this case. I want to thank the grand jury for their hard work and their efforts in making sure that we're making this first step in seeking justice for Madeline Soto, for her family, and so this the community can have closure in this case. Excuse me.
You know, this is sort of torturous listening to this press conference,
Yeah.
but I just want to say that if everyone that's been following this case knows that he didn't get charged with murder from day one. What held him in were the 60 charges that of SA they found on his phone. That's what held him. I'll put the document on the screen. That's what held him. He wasn't charged with the murder till much later, but they were confident that he could be charged with it. There's the document right there. 60 charges filed against defendant Stefan Stearns. 8 counts of S battery, 5 counts of S battery with a child between 12 and 18, 7 counts of lewd and lascivious molestation, 40 counts of unlawful possession of materials. And you know what this is. I don't want to, for YouTube's sake, I don't want to spell them out because they love censoring it. So I'm just not going to say the words. But that's what held him in. That's what held him in the very beginnings of this case. And so most of us, we don't know, not most of us, none of us know what the cause of death was. And none of us know at what point and why did they have enough to charge him with murder first degree. We were never told that. And we still don't know that. And even in this PDF, this 5-page PDF document outlining the discovery material for the defense, we still don't know the cause of death, Mike.
Yeah, Billy, very, very quickly, probably within I don't think it was even 48 hours, they zeroed in on him and they had the pictures and they arrested him. And the good thing about that is, A, they didn't have to pretend and watch him and see if he was a flight risk. B, they were able to, because they know statistically, if you get any sort of SA involving children, I think the FBI has said the average life expectancy is maybe 48 hours after that. So they knew they had to act fast, even though they had their guy that they believed, they had him on something else, which he would easily do probably 50 years, which would probably be a life sentence for him anyway, just on those charges. They were able to mobilize a task force really quickly. Everybody chipped in. I mean, I don't think those cops, those detectives slept for a week. They were working until they found poor Madeline. And in that time, they were able to get emergency affidavit, search warrants, do the emergency affidavit, get the search warrants on the tracking devices, on the phones, all kinds of information. They had before they even have like the crime scene, photographs and everything else. And so they were able to put together really quickly because they probably were a well-manned task force, and they were able to do a lot of work really quickly. People are like, well, it took them like 5 days or something like that. But the public doesn't realize how much work can get done in 5 days if there's a group of cops determined to find a child and get justice for this child. And then they're working 24 right around the clock, 24/7. You can get a lot of work done. They did it. And the volume of information they got, they had 21 detectives in this task force. That's amazing. And I think people should be proud of the work that got done quickly.